Hello. Today we have a new item in here to review. This is the new mmWave sensor from DFRobot. It's called SEN 623. This is the sensor. Now, before I begin, I have to say I received this free to review under the condition that I can express my own opinion on this video. And let's start. So let's have a look. The sensor is something like this. It's smaller than the previous version, which I think it was the 395. Unlike the older 395 version, this sensor is about 1 centimeter smaller. Is 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter. It's a 60 gigahertz millimeter wave and can detect more than just presence, speed and distance. This millimeter wave sensor can recognize human posture, detect if someone is lying down or standing up, if somebody is walking or standing still. It can sleep monitor someone. It got fall detection as well as breath and heart rate measurements. We'll have a look at that later. Now, unlike the older SEN 395, as you can see, the back of this unit is completely empty. There's no components in here. And on the front of the unit, let me zoom in a little bit so we can have a look. Now, on the front of the unit, we have this 5-pin, which by default comes just a hole so you can use this header. These holes, looking at the sensor like this, these holes are, first pin is the VIN pin, which is 5 volts. The second pin is the ground pin. The third pin is the RX pin, TX pin, and then we have 2 GPIO pins, IO2 and IO1. Okay. Now, the big chip in here is a main processor of the unit. This chip is marked as DFC1001 and I can't find any information online regarding. Now we have 2 small LEDs in here, one which is marked HP, which is, I think, is human presence. This will light up red when presence is detected, and it will turn off when nobody is in the room. And then we have a fall detection LED in here, which will light up blue if it detects a fall. We also have a 60 megahertz crystal in here. We have some sort of flash memory in here, like a BIOS. And then what other chips we have? We have this chip in here, which is marked RS0208, and this is some sort of power management IC. And then the antenna in here. Now you have some sort of power regulators in here from the VIN and the ground, maybe some protections. You have few capacitors, few resistors, and few inductors I can see in there. Not much going on, so the main bit has to be this DFC1001. Now, the technical specification according to the manufacturer website is working voltage is 5 volts. Current consumption is about less than 100 milliamps. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Working frequency 61.5 gigahertz. Transmission power 5 decibel. Working distance up to 11 meters. Radar angle detection 100 by 100 degrees. Sleep detection 0.4 up to 2.5 meters. Breath and heartbeat detections 0.4 up to 1.5 meters. Breath measurements 10 to 25 times per minute. Heartbeat measurements 60 to 100 times per minute. Temperature from -20, working temperature -20 to 60 degrees. Now, on the official website, you'll find a lot of information. I'll leave the link in the description, as well as few example codes, so you can start using and testing the unit immediately. Now, let's have a look at the hardware part of this device, and then we go into more details with the software. So, I just connected to a power supply, the 5 volts and the ground. You see we have 5 volts, 800 milliamps. And if we turn it on, let's see if this 100 milliamps is in a range. So as you can see, we have about 70, 80, 90. So it's below the 100 milliamps current. Okay, let's see the temperature. You see the LED is red now because it's detecting that someone is present. Now let's have a look. So the CPU gets a bit hot, but nothing major. Let me see how okay. So we go about 40 degrees, 43 degrees. So this is temperature wise runs perfectly. You see 40 degrees. This is good temperature. Now, one thing I couldn't manage to get to work are the GPIO pins. Now, according to the manufacturer website, these GPIO pins will have 3.3 volts when somebody is detected or when a fault is detected on the GPIO 1. Now, let's power on the board again. Now the board is powered. Again, you can see the LED that is detecting me. Now I connected, you see the orange and the yellow on GPIO 2 and GPIO 1. Let's test first the GPIO 2 pin. Now, supposedly now we should have 3.3 volts because it's detecting us. Let me turn off the light in here. You can see better the light and the multimeter. Now, I'll leave the room until the LED turns red, just in case the 3.3 volts is present when nobody is detected. So let me leave the room and we'll have a look at the monitor. Now you've seen the LED turns off, voltage did a change on the multimeter, then it detects me again, no change. Just in case we are using the wrong one, let's try to use the other GPIO. Now it's connected to the other GPIO. Just to test that we have proper connection, let's connect this yeah, so the multimeter works fine. Let's connect it to the other GPIO and I'll leave the room again until the light goes off. So again, nothing. So I'm not sure this GPIO how it's supposed to work. On the website they said 3.3 volts. Anyway, let's remove this. Just to compare, let's have a look now at the older 395. See how these GPIOs and the temperature is compared to. Okay, so here we have the two sensors side by side. On the left we have the new 623, on the right we have the older 395. You see it's a lot smaller. You see the 395, it has the antenna on the front and all the electronics on the back. The 623 has nothing on the back and it has everything on the front. Okay, so let's have a look now temperature wise and consumption, how they compare. Now let me wire the 395. Okay, so for now I'm just going to connect the 5 volts, turn it on. Now the current on this is a bit small, it's about the same, about 71 milliamps. Now let's wire them both side by side and see the heat temperature on both of them. So if we connect both of them, okay, and this is one and this is the black one in here, and this one is the brown one. Okay, let's make sure we don't short anything in here. Remove all the pins that we don't need. Okay, so we have them connected. Okay, let's turn it on. Let's see if the 395 comes on as well. Yeah, they both up, so let's have a look. Okay, so the 623 we get about 44. The main CPU is about 44.2, and those regulators, whatever they are in there, they're about 48 degrees. On the older 395 we have about 42 degrees, that top I see in there. Let's turn this around because most of the electronic is on the back in here. It's about 42, 44, so pretty much the same heat wise. Now one thing I wanna check on the 395 is the IO pin, if it's got the 3 volts. So give me 1 second to wire up the multimeter and we'll have a look. Okay, so I've got everything connected. Let's turn on the power supply. You see, on this one we have the 3.3 volts, where on the 623 there was no 3.3 volts. I'm not sure if the unit I got is faulty or you need something else. Okay, so I'll leave the room now for a couple of minutes. Let's see if the multimeter drops to 0 on no detection. So you've seen the multimeter dropping to 0 as soon as no detection, and then when I came back into the range it detected me again and it went up to 3.3. Now let's turn off the power supply and let's try again the 623. Maybe we've made a mistake, so we have plus and then we have minus, and then we have these IO pins in here. Let's put it like this. So I'll turn on the power supply. Okay, so nothing on the IO pin number 2. Let's see IO number 1. There's absolutely no change at all. Let me turn off the light so you can see the LED. Now I'll step out of the room. Maybe this goes the other way around. It's 3 volts when no detection. So I'll step out of the room a second, see what happens. So no change at all, you see. It detects me. So the IO1, nothing. Let's see the IO2. Okay, we connected. There's not much change on the multimeter, but anyway, I'll leave the room again, see what happens. Now, so absolutely no change at all on the IO pins. Maybe, like I said, it's a faulty unit, or maybe it's just, I don't know, works in some other way. Anyway, let's now connect it to the computer and see if we got more luck through the word connection. So we have everything mounted on these two breadboards. Now the breadboard is something like this. I guess you are familiar with it. If you look at the breadboard, you have rows and you have columns. the rows are marked 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to, in this case, 30. And then you have the columns A, B, C, D, and E. And then on the left and right side, you have the power pins. You have one column plus, one column minus. You see they are divided in here, so they don't go all the way up, down. So how this works, it's easy. For example, you have one. All these ones are all together. You see, these ones are all together. And then you have 2. The 2's are all together. 3 are all together. 4, 5, 6, they're all together. Now 1 and 2 don't have continuity. 2 and 3 don't have continuity. So together are all the ones. Okay, the 2's, the 3's, all the rows are together. Now on the power pins is different. The plus goes down, so all the column with the plus, they together, and the minus are together. So this is how it works. So we have this breadboard connected like this. I hope you can see it. Now on this breadboard we have, with the red wires connected from the 5 volts of the ESP32. With the black wires we have the ground. Now with the yellow wire, well, I use yellow for 2 pins. We have one coming from the GPIO 21 on the ESP to this LED, and then we have a second one from the RX to the pin 16 on TX to the pin 17 on the ESP32. Now these power pins, the 5 volts pins coming from the ESP, one goes to the LED and the other one goes to the 5 volts of the C1001. The ground pin as well, one goes to the mmWave and the other one goes to the LED. Okay, so we'll be connecting it in a minute and see how it goes. Okay, so let's have a look. First of all, you see this sensor cost about $35. It's a 60 gigahertz fall detection, sleep monitor, heart rate, what else it has, breathing measurements, heart rate, maximum detection 11 meters. So if you look at the DFRobot website for this mmWave, you'll find in here a lot of information, product introductions, and then depends on whatever you want to use it for. They'll explain you where's the best place to install it, how to install it, and then you have a brief introduction of the device explaining the parts on it. Now you see in here they say the human presence level is 3.3 volts. As we've seen before, I had no voltage in here, so I'm not sure. Again, for fall detection, they'll show you how and where to install it. Sleep detection. Now for each of these cases you have information of how to install it. You see wiring diagram, 5 volts, ground, RX and TX, and then you have a sample code. This is for, I think, fall detection. Then you have a sample code for sleeping. Then you have a sample code for I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to use this. So this is the board we're using. Okay, see, you have the USB in here. Is a micro USB, and what we're using, we are using the 5 volts from here, we are using the ground from here, and then we are using G16, G17 for RX and TX, and then we are using pin 21 for the LED. Now the LED is optional. I just install it so you can see that it is working. Okay, so if we open Arduino IDE, I'm not going through how to install it. Okay, this is the code. If you're interested, I can provide you this code. Now you see we have in here the LED pin, and we have in here the TX and RX pins. If you change this pin, make sure you change this configuration as well. Now another thing to mention, on their website they explain how to install this. Okay, installation, how to install it. Okay, so you need this Arduino software, click in here, install it. You need the library, and then they explain you how to install the library. So you see, you got all the information in here. Okay, it's no point for me going through all this. We have everything in here. Okay, so we have the code in here. Like I said, if you're interested, we can provide you with this code. And now if I click on the okay, let's have, you see we are connected on COM8, and if I click on the serial plotter, you see we have the information. The heart rate and breathing, they might take some time. If you look down here, you have the information. So let's see. Okay, so the green is the movement. Let's see if it's picking up the heart rate as well. Anyway, the code is how it's working. The LED, okay, is connected to the movement part. Okay, so when detects movement, you will turn red. When no movement is detected, it will switch to green. Okay, so this is not presence. You see, you have in here movement, and then you have motion, and then you have the other respiratory and heart rate. So let's see, if I'm not moving, you see it goes down. If I move, it goes up. Now I'm gonna move away from the sensor, see if it stops detecting me, and if it goes green. Okay, so you've seen it going green, and then when I moved back into this, its range is came red again. You can change the LED. You see now you have the heart rate as well, and you have the breathing, which is the yellow one, What else we have? Okay, so we can change this code. Okay, let's have a look. You can change it. Now it's on motion. Let's copy this code. I have in here a folder with a lot of codes. Let's save this. I think I already saved it, okay? Just in case. Let's call it C1001 motion. Okay. Oh no, let's try the code from their website. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it in here. Now we said 16 and 17. Let's flash this. Okay, so it's here should be get, I think. Let's try again. Okay, now it's working. So if you get this error with the code from their website, just change this sensor name from git to get. Now this code doesn't have the LED. This is the code from their website. Okay. So we need to get the board into downloading mode. I think to get the board into downloading mode, let's have a look. Where's the board? We need to press the boot. Okay, while we are, if you have this problem, all you need to do is press boot while you're flashing. You don't have to press from the beginning. You have to keep it pressed now when it's saying uploading. You see, now it's working. So if you get this error, you know how to fix it now. Once it's done, it's done. Now it's resetting itself. Okay. Okay, so you see we're already having the data. Let's have a look. So this is the code from their website, from the DFRobot website. Again, the heart rate and the respiratory rate is gonna take some time. is in motion, active, so their code is working as well. Okay, still no pulse. So you see, someone is present. I'm gonna try to stay still, see what happens. You see it moves to still, motion information. If I move a little bit, I'm now moving because I'm speaking, it moves back to active. Heart rate still nothing. It will eventually work. It needs some time the first time. It is actually cool if you see moving body movement. It shows how many, my guess is, movements detects. Okay, not gonna wait for the heart rate. It does work. Let's try to flash. This code. This is basically the same code with the LED. Now the LED is connected to the human presence. Okay. So let's connect this. So we have 16, 17 and 21 again. Let's flash this. Like we said, we need to press the boot button. Okay, so we have a blue light now. Okay, so colors: green, no one is present; blue, someone is present; and red, when we have an error. Now it's blue because it's detecting presence in the room, and because now it's not connected to the movement, it's connected to the presence part. It's gonna stay present. It's gonna stay blue a long time. It's actually gonna stay blue until I'm stepping away from the room. So I'm going to step away from the sensor and see if it goes green. Now it's gonna stay green about a minute, I guess, until it's detecting nobody else is present in the room. Let's see. So you see it went green, and when I came closer again it came blue. If you notice, the sensor itself has an LED in here. This LED is on when someone is being detected, when presence is detected, and if you noticed, it turned off when someone was not detected anymore. And you can change this code in here somewhere. You see, HP LED 1. If you turn it 0, you'll stay off all the time. Now let's go back to their website. They claim in here is like a 9-meter sensor. It's detecting me about 2 meters. Maybe you need to play a little bit with the range, with the code, adjust the sensors. I'm still playing with it. So, but it's for me, the 9-meter is not working. It's about, like I said, about 2 meters. More than 2 meters away, it won't detect me anymore. So, like with the older one, maybe you can adjust the distance, the detection distance. Maybe you can adjust the sensibility as well. Like I said, I'm still playing with it, but this video was about testing how it's working, if it's working at all, and the quality of the sensor. So this was all about the C1001 from the DFRobot. It's a nice little sensor. It has a lot of potential. I'm sure in the future we got more information and more people start making code for it, and we can find out how to adjust the sensibility, the range, and all the other functions. But yeah, it's a nice quality sensor. If you're interested in the code I modified with the LED, just let me know and I'll post them. And see you in the next video. Bye.